Today we'll be working in my workbook called Preparing to Leave Mount Sinai. This is chapters 1 through 4. And looking at the table of contents, we have already completed where God asked them to prepare to count the 12 tribes. This is the first official census of the tribes, and then the census of the actual 12 tribes. And we definitely learned in that census, look here on that census, we learned on that census that we're looking at roughly 2 billion people that are traveling. And even when you add in the Levites, which they're not counted here, you definitely have very close to 2 billion people that are traveling. And that is just monumental. Anyway, coming back here, then we start talking about the arrangement of the tribal accounts around the tabernacle, how which camps are on the west, the south, the east, the north, and so that's formation, and that's getting everything in logical order. Now we're going to look at chapter 4. The Levites appointed for God's service, Numbers 3, 1 through 16.
I might have a little tickle now and then, so
Yeah, well, why don't you give me a moment anyway? Yeah. Well, no, never mind. We've already recording. I can wait. Okay, go ahead.
okay. This is the account of the family of Aaron and Moses at the time the Lord spoke to Moses at Mount Sinai.
Okay. So looking at the graph below, which son of Levi does Moses and Aaron come from?
Uh, Amran.
Amram is the grandson, but the son from Levi is Kohath, right? Levi,
Oh,
then Kohath is his son.
okay.
And which son of Kohath does Moses and Aaron come from? And that's where Amram or Amram, it's spelled two different ways, is the answer to that one. So they're
I got it
like,
all wrong. I
right,
said
right.
Levi.
Yeah. So Levi is their great grandfather, is really what it is.
Oh, great
Who is the
grandfather.
oldest, Aaron or Moses?
Aaron.
Aaron. Yes, they're 3 years different. Technically, Miriam is between them. Whoops,
Yeah.
sorry. Do they have a sister?
No. Oh, yes. Her name is Miriam.
Miriam. Yeah, Miriam.
Yeah,
Since we
Miriam.
see that 2 years have passed since they left Egypt, then Moses is 82 and Aaron is 85 and Miriam is somewhere in between. Where is this census taken?
Mount Sinai.
Interestingly, this is not really the account of the family of Aaron and Moses, as it is of the Levite family. However, Aaron and Moses are the most prominent members. Although Aaron's direct line are designated as the priests, Moses' direct line, his sons Gershom and Eleazar from Zipporah, are only part of the Kohathites. They are not leaders like their father.
Okay, let's see if I can get these words. The names of the sons of Aaron were
Edom
Nadab, the firstborn, and
and Abahu.
Abihu,
Yeah, Abahu. Yeah. Eleazar
Eleazar,
and
and
Ithamar. And
okay,
Ithamar.
those were the names of Aaron's sons, the anointed priests, who were ordained to serve as priests. Nadab, and Abihu, however, died before the Lord when they made an offering with unauthorized fire before him in the desert of Sinai. They had no sense, so Eleazar and Ithamar served as priests during the lifetime of their father Aaron.
Right. So who are the four sons of Aaron?
Nadam, Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar.
Right. Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. Which ones died?
Yeah, Nadam and Ebahar.
Right. Why did they die?
An offering with unauthorized fire before him in the desert of Sinai.
Right. And basically they didn't treat it with respect, and they just kind of, didn't treat it with respect. And so they did
Yeah.
something wrong, and so they were killed for it. Did Nadab and Abihu have any sons?
No.
Therefore, since all the priests come from the line of Aaron, then all the priests have to come from what sons?
Eleazar and Itamar.
Right, Eleazar and Ithamar. Yes. So right at this point in time, there's only three priests: Aaron, Eleazar, and Eleazar and Ithamar.
The Lord said to Moses, bring the tribe of Levi and present them to Aaron the priest to assist him. They are to perform duties for him and for the whole community at the tent of meeting by doing the work of the tabernacle. They are to take care of all the furnishings of the tent of meeting, fulfilling the obligations of the Israelites by doing the work of the tabernacle.
The Levites were going to have several duties. They assist
Aaron,
the priest. They do the work of the
tabernacle.
They take care of all the
furnishings
of the tent of meeting, and they fulfill the
obligation
of the Israelites. There's another responsibility of the Levites not mentioned above, but listed in Leviticus below. What is it?
Teach the Israelites all the decrees the Lord has given them.
Right, so they're also teachers.
Yeah.
They also be in charge of music and are gatekeepers, at least from the reign of David forward. A priest is a Levite, but are all Levites priests?
No.
No. Have you understood that yet?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I kind of talk about this a lot so that people understand the difference, because it can get confusing until you understand it
Yes,
clearly.
it can be. Yes. Yes. Okay. Give the Levites to Aaron and his sons. They are the Israelites who are to be given wholly to him. Appoint Aaron and his sons to serve as priests. Anyone else who approaches the sanctuary is to be put to death.
Aaron, his sons, and all of their sons are Levites, but they are also
priests.
Any Levite not directly descended from Aaron are not
priests,
or nor could they ever be. Looking at the picture below, other than sanctuary and the tent of meeting, what is another name for this place?
Tabernacle.
Yeah. Could the Levites that weren't priests be allowed in the courtyard?
Yeah.
Could any member of the other tribes be allowed in the courtyard?
Yeah.
Therefore, everyone is allowed in the courtyard, but only
priests
were allowed in their tabernacle.
Yeah.
And then when it becomes a temple, of course, only priests are allowed inside the holiest of holies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and then I have those two scriptures we followed. 2 Chronicles 29:16. The priests went into the sanctuary of the Lord to purify it. They brought out to the courtyard of the Lord's temple everything unclean that they found in the temple of the Lord. The Levites took it and carried it out. Leviticus 17:1-4. The Lord said to Moses, speak to Aaron and his sons and to all the Israelites and say to them, this is what the Lord has commanded. Any Israelite who sacrifices an ox, a lamb, or goat in the camp or outside of it, instead of bringing it to the entrance to the tent of meeting to present it as an offering to the Lord in front of the tabernacle of the Lord, that person shall be considered guilty of bloodshed. They have shed blood that must be cut off from their people.
Gosh, that's hardcore.
Well, yeah, he made strict laws. We have a lot more grace now, but
yeah,
but we get away with so much too.
Yeah. The Lord also said to Moses, I have taken the Levites from among the Israelites in place of the first male offspring of every Israelite woman. The Levites are mine, for all the firstborn are mine. When I struck down all the firstborn in Egypt, I set apart for myself every firstborn in Israel, whether human or animal. They are to be mine. I am the Lord.
What has the Lord taken the Levites as replacement of?
First male offspring of every Israelite woman.
Based on the scripture below, why were all the firstborn of Israelites God's?
He redeemed from death in Egypt when he took all the firstborns in Egypt.
Right. And then that comes from Exodus 13, 1, 2, 14b, and 15. The Lord said to Moses, consecrate to me every firstborn male. The first offspring of every womb among the Israelites belongs to me, whether human or animal. With a mighty hand, the Lord brought us out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. When Pharaoh suddenly refused to let us go, the Lord killed the firstborn of both people and animals in Egypt. That is why I sacrifice to the Lord the first male offspring of every womb and redeem each of my firstborn sons. Um, based, based on Genesis below, was Levi Jacob's firstborn?
No.
No. They were picked solely because they're stand in Exodus 32, which I had shown to you prior. And the proof that he's not the firstborn, Genesis 29, 31, 35. When the Lord saw that Leah was not loved, he enabled her to conceive, but Rachel remained childless. Leah became pregnant and gave birth to a son. She named him Reuben, for she said, it's because the Lord has seen my misery. Surely my husband will love me now. She conceived again, and when she gave birth to a son, she said, because the Lord heard that I am not loved, he gave me this one too. So she named him Simeon. Again, she conceived, and when she gave birth to the son, she said, now at last my husband will become attached to me because I've borne him three sons. So he was named Levi. Yes. So the Levites were picked by God solely because of their stand at the golden calf.
Okay. The Lord said to Moses in the desert of Sinai, count the Levites by their families and clans. Count every male a month old or more. So Moses counted them as he was commanded by the word of the Lord.
So what tribe is Moses to count now?
Levites.
The other tribes were counted for military purposes. For them, every male
20.
years old or older were counted. For the Levites, Moses was to count every male from what age forward?
1 month old.
The Levites are to be counted by their families and clans. What are the three clans?
Kohathite,
Right.
Gizhonite, and Merarites.
Right. Kohathites, Gershonites, and Merarites. Merarites,
Yeah,
excuse
much
me.
better.
Yeah. Looking at the scripture below, how old did the Levite have to be put to work?
25 years.
Right. Why then did God want to count from 1 month old and older?
I don't know.
Yeah. It's an interesting concept, except that he's redeemed them all. And we're also going to learn why he's done that, why he's done that count. But in the beginning, you're going, okay, why? And so, we're going to hear the answer. But other than redeeming, is there a reason? I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So to come, information to come later.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got to
Yep.
the crossword here. Number 4, anyone who approaches the sanctuary that is not a priest is to be put to.
Yeah.
Okay, number 6, the sons of Aaron are Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and
Itamar.
good. 7, who is Moses and Aaron's father?
Aram.
Right, Amram, yeah,
Amram.
yeah. What tribe is Moses and Aaron from?
Levi.
And 10, what clan is Moses and Aaron from?
Kohath.
Kohathites. Kohathites.
Yeah.
Okay, number 1 down. The Levites were taken in place of the first male
Offspring.
of every Israelite woman. 2, the one duty not shown that was the responsibility of the Levites was to
Teach.
the Israelites in the decrees. 3, the two sons of Aaron that that died were
Nadab.
and Abihu. Yeah, only all the direct descendants of Aaron are.
3
And Moses was to count the Levites from a
month.
old or older. So that's the end of this chapter. Hang on here.